From the freezing of New York to the arrival of Goraka to the sewer dragon chase scene, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire has plenty of exciting moments.
Ooh, so exciting.
Welcome to Furthy's Feedback, folks. So, following on from the story developments in Ghostbusters Afterlife, Frozen Empire sees the Spangler family returning to New York to team up with the OG Ghostbusters to defeat the most formidable villain they've ever faced. Goraka is bent on unleashing every ghost that's ever been busted and plunging the world into a second ice age. While it was met with mixed reviews from critics, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire's impressive opening weekend box office suggests a much warmer reception from audiences. The Ghostbusters series has shifted away from straightforward comedy defined by risque jokes and male bonding to a typical family film franchise that appeals to audiences of all ages. But Frozen Empire still exhibits the movie's spooky thrills with kid-friendly jump scares and a creepy atmosphere. The latest Ghostbuster adventure is full of these kinds of exhilarating moments, like Phoebe turning herself into a ghost and a chase through the New York City Public Library. Here are the 7 most exciting moments from Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. The Ghostbusters chase the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon across the city. After the flashback prologue, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire catches up with the Spangler family after they've moved into the Ghostbusters New York firehouse and taken over the business. The family is reintroduced in a chase sequence as they speed through the streets of New York in Ecto-1 in pursuit of a long snake-like ghost flying above the city. This ghost is referred to as the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon. Not only is the chase scene an exciting start to the movie, it also highlights the reckless destruction that will get the Ghostbusters into trouble with the mayor. Phoebe turns herself into a ghost. After being kicked off the team, Phoebe is reminded of the loneliness and struggle for companionship that she felt at the beginning of Ghostbusters Afterlife. To combat this loneliness, she befriends a ghost named Melody who died in a fire and can't move on to the afterlife until she gets justice. At first, Phoebe and Melody seem to have a great friendship, but then it turns out Melody has an ulterior motive. In order to gain passage into the afterlife, Melody has to reawaken Goraka. And in order to do that, she has to trick a living person into reciting Goraka's chant. So she talks Phoebe into turning herself into a ghost in the extraction chamber under the guise of wanting a real connection with her. This is both a visually stunning scene and a key turning point in Phoebe's character arc. New York firefighters find the Manhattan Adventurers Society frozen in 1904. The flashback prologue at the beginning of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire sets the stage for a chilling supernatural adventure. The movie begins in 1904 as a squad of New York firefighters race to the headquarters of a mysterious gentleman's club, the Manhattan Adventurers Society, and finds that all its members have been frozen to death. When the head firefighter pokes one of the frozen adventurers, he shatters into a million pieces, and then his frozen friends follow suit. This prologue serves a few purposes. It introduces the threat of Goraka, who resurfaced and froze these guys to death just because they recited his signature chant, and it establishes the frosty chills that will make up most of the movie's action. With its shocking jump scares, this opening flashback gets Frozen Empire off to an exhilarating start. Goraka releases every ghost that's ever been busted. When Melody tricks Phoebe into releasing Goraka from his ghostly prison, the first thing he does is release every other ghost that's ever been busted. So not only is the entire city frozen over, all the other ghosts have been let out to create chaos on the streets of New York. Slimer, the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon, and all the others start flying across the city, causing mayhem for idle New Yorkers. Garaka freeing the ghosts raises the stakes of the story significantly. It's such a disastrous development for the Ghostbusters that it's not even fixed in time for the closing credits. The movie ends with the Ghostbusters heading out to round up the rest of the escaped ghosts, this time with the support of the mayor's office, so that could be a storyline for the sequel. Mini Puffs steal a truck. Much like Ghostbusters Afterlife, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire has an extra scene in the middle of its end credits sequence. Whereas Afterlife used its mid-credit scene to bring back Sigourney Weaver as Dana Barrett, now married to Peter Venkman, Frozen Empire uses its mid-credit scene to tease a possible storyline for the next movie. The scene sees a bunch of Mini-Puffs teaming up to hijack a Stay Puft Marshmallow truck from a truck stop. Throughout both Afterlife and Frozen Empire, the Mini-Puffs, essentially baby Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, have become the Ghostbusters franchise's answer to Marvel's Baby Groot and Star Wars' Baby Yoda. They're easily merchandisable because they are so adorable, but this mid-credit scene suggests a dark turn in their future. It could even lead to a Mini-Puft invasion if Ghostbusters Frozen Empire gets a sequel to continue the story. Melody turns against Garaka. After tricking Phoebe into releasing Garaka from his spectral prison cell so that she could finally find peace, Melody is dismayed to find that Garaka lied to her to get what he wanted. As soon as she learns of this betrayal, Melody turns her back on Garaka and joins the Ghostbusters' side for the final battle. Towards the end of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Melody realizes Phoebe is a lot more trustworthy than Garaka and much more forgiving, so she changes her allegiance. This is similar to Lando's arc in The Empire Strikes Back. He initially strikes a deal with Darth Vader to capture the rebels, but when Vader keeps altering the deal and denying Lando the perks of his side of the deal, Lando switches sides and joins the rebels' fight against Vader. Melody is the Lando of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. The Spanglers defeat Garaka as a family. After spending most of the movie at odds with her family, Phoebe finally learns to appreciate them in the final battle of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. As Phoebe fights off Garaka with her proton pack, her brother, mother, and stepdad all join her side to help her. This is reminiscent of how the ghost of her estranged grandfather Egon arrived to help her in the final battle of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Phoebe didn't think her mum could contribute anything valuable to the team. She resented her brother for being a couple of years older than her and therefore allowed a lot more freedoms, and she rejected Gary as her father figure. But in this final battle, when they all join her side to defeat Garaka, she realizes she was wrong on all three counts. This ends Ghostbusters Frozen Empire on a wonderfully sweet note. I also need to give a honourable mention to Kumail Nanjiani's Firemaster, who looked like one of the guards from Big Trouble in Little China with all that brass. He was also key to defeating Garaka.